Imagine waking up tomorrow to a profound, unsettling silence, a silence that feels heavier than any you've ever known. This isn't the peaceful quiet of a holiday morning, but a stillness born from absence, from something essential missing. The baby next door isn't crying, no one is there to hear her, no arms to comfort, no voice to soothe. The school bus sits idle, parents are missing from the morning rush, and the world's familiar rhythm has stopped. The routines that once defined our days have vanished. Every caregiver, parent, grandparent, home health aide has stepped away, leaving behind only traces of their presence. The spoon for feeding an elderly mother remains untouched. The wheelchair stays folded. The comforting hand is absent. The daily rituals of care are suspended. The most vulnerable are left alone, surrounded by silence and uncertainty. An elderly man can't dress or take his medication. A young woman misses her treatment, and both are left to face the day without help. The fabric of daily life, woven from countless acts of care, unravels thread by thread, leaving gaps that can't be filled. Each small act, a packed lunch, a ride to the doctor, a gentle reminder, suddenly missing, reveals how care holds everything together, often invisibly. The world hasn't ended in chaos, but in a quiet, total system failure. The absence of care is a silent collapse. Care is not a private matter. It's the infrastructure that makes everything else possible, the invisible support beneath our lives. Without caregivers, homes lose safety, communities lose connection, and the economy halts. The world becomes unrecognizable. The great stillness is a warning, a glimpse of what we risk if we take care for granted. We are held together by caregivers, and their absence would be our undoing. Their work is the glue of society. This is the reality we ignore at our peril. We must recognize the value of care before it's too late. What would we do if care disappeared, even for a day? Would we notice the silence, or would we finally understand what we've lost? Caregivers are the invisible engine powering our society. Their work so constant it's often unseen. The parent preparing breakfast, the nursing assistant helping with daily needs and personal care, the son managing his mother's appointments. Each is essential and irreplaceable. Paid or unpaid, their labor keeps our world running smoothly. We celebrate surgeons and CEOs, but rarely the home health aide or daycare worker who makes their work possible. This invisibility is a systemic problem. We assume care will always be there, but that assumption is fragile and risky. As demands on caregivers grow, support lags behind significantly. Recognizing caregivers as essential is the first step to a more resilient, compassionate society. How do we measure the value of care given out of love? It's a question that goes beyond numbers, touching the very heart of what it means to be human. Every day, millions of people quietly dedicate themselves to caring for loved ones, often without recognition or reward. Economists estimate unpaid family care in the U.S. is worth hundreds of billions each year. This staggering figure only hints at the true impact, as it doesn't capture the emotional labor, patience, and compassion poured into every act of care. If you paid for every service a caregiver provides, meals, transportation, medication management, cleaning, the cost would be staggering. These daily acts, often taken for granted, are the backbone of our families and communities. This invisible work keeps people out of expensive facilities and allows adults to work, saving billions for the economy. It enables independence, dignity, and connection for those who need it most. Yet because it's done within families, it's not counted in our GDP. The contributions of caregivers are hidden in plain sight, overlooked by the systems that benefit from them. This unproductive label is both absurd and insulting. It ignores the real value of care and the toll it can take on those who give so much of themselves. Failing to count this labor means we don't invest in supporting it. Caregivers are left to shoulder the burden alone, often at great personal cost. We lack national paid leave, affordable childcare, and elder care. The safety net is full of holes, leaving families to patch them as best they can. Our society relies on a volunteer-run infrastructure, acting as if it will last forever without investment. But this system is fragile, and the cracks are beginning to show. Recognizing care's economic value isn't about reducing it to dollars. It's about making its importance visible. It's about acknowledging the essential role caregivers play in our lives and our economy. Only then can we build the support systems caregivers deserve. When we see and value their work, we can create real change. Care is the silent subsidy propping up our entire society. It is the foundation on which everything else rests. It's time we see it, value it, and support it. Because when we support caregivers, we strengthen the very fabric of our communities. Hospitals depend on caregivers, family, and aides to function. If caregivers vanished, emergency rooms would overflow with patients whose chronic conditions are usually managed at home. Hospital beds would fill with patients who can't be discharged because no one can help them recover at home. Surgeries would be canceled, and the entire system would grind to a halt. Caregivers ensure discharge instructions are followed, medications are taken, and complications are caught early. Without them, readmissions would skyrocket. Doctors and nurses would be forced into roles they can't sustain, and care quality would plummet. The healthcare system, a pillar of society, would be exposed as deeply dependent on caregivers. The partnership between professionals and caregivers is what extends healing beyond hospital walls. Without it, the system collapses. The link between caregiving and the economy is immediate and profound. Every day, millions of people quietly provide care, at home, in hospitals, in schools, forming the invisible backbone of our society. If caregivers stopped, mass absenteeism would hit workplaces within hours. Offices would empty, businesses would scramble, and essential services would be left without support. Parents couldn't work, daycares and schools would close, and the informal care network that so many rely on would vanish overnight, leaving families in crisis. Every industry would feel the shock. Coffee shops, factories, offices, all would go silent. The ripple effect would reach every corner of the economy, from small businesses to global corporations. Even those without children would be affected. Many care for aging parents or disabled spouses. The need for care touches nearly everyone, regardless of age or background. The economy would unravel, supply chains would break, and services would collapse. Supermarkets, delivery networks, and healthcare systems would all grind to a halt. This isn't just lost productivity for a day, it's a total seizure of the economic machine. The gears that keep society running would freeze. Care work and real work are inseparable. One cannot exist without the other. The balance between them is what allows our communities to function. The crisis would expose the myth that family and work are separate spheres. In truth, they are deeply intertwined, each depending on the other. Our economy has always depended on the silent labor of caregivers. Their contributions are the foundation on which everything else is built. When that labor is withdrawn, the illusion shatters. The true value of care becomes impossible to ignore. The economy doesn't slow down, it stops. Life as we know it would come to a standstill, revealing our deep dependence on care. This reality should force us to ask, how do we build an economy that supports the care work making it possible? What changes are needed to truly sustain our society? The answer starts with valuing care, recognizing it, supporting it, and ensuring it is at the heart of our economic priorities. Beyond economics, the deepest cost of losing caregivers is the loss of our shared humanity. Care is more than tasks. It's how we express love, connection, and empathy. It's the comfort after a nightmare, the presence with a scared parent, the reassurance for a partner in pain. Without care, silence is filled with fear and loneliness. Children, adults, and elders would all suffer, not just physically but emotionally. The emotional support caregivers provide is a powerful force for mental well-being. Without it, families fracture, communities lose cohesion, and we become isolated individuals. Care is the heartbeat of our humanity, the rhythm of compassion that defines us. The scenario of a caregiver strike shows we risk losing not just productivity, but our very sense of self. We are shaped by those who care for us and by those we care for. To lose care is to lose the language of love and the social connections that make us human. The human cost is immeasurable. Imagining a world without caregivers isn't meant to scare us. It's meant to inspire action. The Great Stillness is a wake-up call. Our society is built on care, and that foundation is cracking. We must recognize, respect, and reinvest in care work. As individuals, we can make care visible, support caregivers, challenge outdated ideas, and advocate for better policies. For leaders, it means building a robust care infrastructure, paid family leave, affordable childcare and elder care, and fair wages for professional caregivers. These aren't radical ideas. They're essential for a stable, humane society. The future of our economy and communities depends on the choices we make now. We can't take caregivers for granted any longer. Let's build a world where care is honored and supported. Let's ensure the hands that care for us are cared for in return.